it's really hard to speak about the activity of God in public. We have, as my friend who taught me some of this stuff says, he says, if the government passed a law that said we weren't allowed to speak in public about God, then we'd all start doing it. But because they haven't, we've somehow imprisoned ourselves in a cell of our own. We just don't do it. It's just too embarrassing to talk about. We had a really interesting conversation at the Susanna Wesley Foundation Church Consult meeting last week with a bunch of clergy and lay people around, is it okay to do this? Is it not just presumptuous to speak about God? And part of this is what I would call the cultural captivity of the church in modernity, the way in which we've given in to the private-public split that modernity created for us, and how hard it is to break out of that privatization of the church. I'll tell you about Charlotte, who's a member of a church, a fairly middle-class church in Nottingham. They went through our change process, and in the middle of the process, we asked them to create an adaptive challenge, something that they don't know the answer to. I'll speak about that in the paper. And they knew in this parish that they had an area in the parish called Furbank in Nottingham, and they knew they'd never done anything in this place. They knew it was different to the rest of the parish, was much more deprived, social housing, and they'd always felt guilty about it for years and years and years, and they decided to make it their challenge. Could they form some relationships and work with these people to work on community in that area? So we asked them, we give them a little process of helping them to find people who they might, we call them people of peace, they might actually relate to, connect with, and then form a meeting to discuss what they might do together. So Charlotte described in front of everybody in the room as they were reflecting on this experience, how she was so terrified by this idea that she decided to write a script of what she was going to say when she rang up the person that had been given to her as her contact in this community, because it was what made it safe for her to be able to make the phone call. And she described in fine detail the phone call. She rings up and the woman answers. So, got to get going. She said after about 30 seconds, she knew it wasn't going very well because she got through the first 3 points and this one was no idea who she was, and it's very awkward. And then she got to the line where it said, I'm from so-and-so church. And the woman said, really, she said, been waiting for someone from your church to ring for 20 years. So they had a 40-minute conversation about how they might partner together. And once that story got told in that church, you can imagine what happened then about their understanding of the way in which God is at work outside the church and not just inside the church. People are waiting for us for 20 years to be in touch.